Good evening. This is Reverend Norma Cowie. I have my Reverend hats on Monday nights at 7 o'clock when I am available for what I am calling mental mind treatments. This is an opportunity when you have any issue whatsoever. Doesn't matter really what it's about, but you needed to feel that you want to change your perception, you want to change the thought patterns, you want to think all these things that you may have in relation to your life and to everything that's going on. I was privileged on Saturday to do a past life regression workshop, and I have since received several emails thanking me and looking for other things. And I'm planning on doing a different kind of workshop on the 23rd of April, dealing with how we our inner children freeze in space and time. I call it inner children, but the reality is we could be frozen even yesterday. If there was a trauma, if there's something really strong that happens to us, we freeze in space and time, as far as I'm concerned. And the importance of being able to unfreeze, the importance to be able to be present at any moment of time in your life is so, so important. You know, none of us are perfect. I guess that's why we're here in a lifetime. And if we are perfect, I don't know. I'm certainly not me. And I haven't met many, quote, perfect people. And I find those that strive for that very often have what we call control programs, because they have been traumatized and they have to have control. And so they make sure that everything is perfect. But when you're dealing with feelings, when you're having feelings that are coming through your body, it is incredibly difficult, so to speak, to actually learn how to work with that, because if you're not in touch with how the feelings are running, if you're not allowing them to flow naturally and normally, and what I always teach is that you name the feelings that you have, because if you don't, if you push them down, and if you don't want to deal with them and put them somewhere else, they become emotions. And I always make a very big distinction between the two words. Feelings, which is, and as to me also, you may have heard me say this before, it's your body's way of talking to you. And by being able to name it, the body really knows that you've heard. And sometimes I was known when I was first learning how to work with this, saying, I don't know what this feeling is. And so I would, finally, it would still subside. And I realized that partly it's like us as people, we like to be acknowledged and we like to be recognized in some way, shape, and form, preferably positive reinforcement. And if not, or if so, we end up, how would you say, we end up kind of creating a false image of really what's happening and what's going on. We are very incredible, I was going to say creatures, people. We are pretty incredible for the talents that we have that rely within us, the abilities that we have, which we may utilize or may not. And so it's really really an important element. Now, I see that Karen here has come and given me. I just want to read what she has to say. First of all, greetings, Norma. I would love some divine direction about where I would suit living. Where is my next home? And thanks so much. So last week we were looking at, I think, Karen's eyes. Now we're looking at living. So I've got a nice challenge for me in a way, because I have no perceptions of that, what's going to come through for that at all. Often after when you do a lot of these, you begin to realize there's a basic pattern very often in what is said, even though my specialty is be able to move it to be very specific to you. So let us begin with this one for Karen. As I take a deep breath and close my eyes so I can be at one with all the energy that is there, as I move myself into that place of understanding there is one power and one essence. And into this one power and one essence, I speak my word for Karen. And as I speak my word for Karen, in what I would say is to discover the appropriate home, the home that will support me in every which way it is possible. it's as though a letting go needs to happen first. If I can let go of the strings that hold me where I am, if I can change that thinking process to expand to the point of where I want to be. If I was to take a look at even a world map, there are many places where you could reside, where you could be, and it would be very happy. But the truth of this whole thing is for you to learn to trust your own intuition and your own, you might say, inner bearing. Where do you sense for yourself would be the best place? Where do you sense the direction that you need to go in? It's not for, and this is what I'm hearing, it is not for myself or anyone else to say where it would be, because the exercise for you is to take ownership of where you yourself would like to be in relation to your world. Where would you like to be? And you can, it's like trying something on. When you know where you think you would like to be, this feels right, this is where I need to be. You can always check that with a person like myself who can check things. But at this point of the exercise, what I'm seeing here, because it is an exercise, it's an exercise of trusting self. It's an exercise of knowing the direction that you want to be in, or where you want to go and what you want to do. Because if you can't rely on who you are and what your desires are, and be aware to listen to your own intuition. Your intuition is very strong. It is strong in that you don't always listen. That comes through too. But it is strong in the awareness. And when we're thinking about what are we saying to ourselves? What are we wanting to express? What do we want our picture? Is not about doubt of knowing. It's the knowing that the right place will show itself, that the right place will be there, that the right place will, you might say, emerge from the soup of life. And that is because you're going to call it up. You're going to ask for the right place and the right home for yourself. You're going to ask for that in a belief way that you know that when it comes that it is correct. Now, very often when we ask for something, many things will show up. I want a new home. And where do I go? And they'll say, oh, well, you can go here and here and here. But it's like then you need to rely on that sense of yourself. Where does it say in relation to you? Where does it explain? And once you begin to listen, the growth that you will do from this will influence many other aspects of your life. It's as though doors open and things begin to happen and things begin to take place. So the answer for the question is very different than what one would expect. It's not specific, but it is in relation to your growth. It is in relation to you being aware that you ask for what you want. Remember, it's like a computer that you put in what you want, and it will, and then it finds it and spells it back out. You're communicating with that universal love force that wants to show you. So you need to be very clear in your thinking about how you express that. And when you say it's not about divine direction. It's about thinking first is what kind of home do you want? You put your plan out, you get a plan, you figure it out. What is it that you're wanting right now? You may not know the place. You may not know specifically what it is, but you say, I want a home. Bring it to me, show me, and you will find out. And it's actually kind of exciting. I feel excited because it's like, wow, it's like opening a Pandora's box. It's what I call, it's like opening the box going, oh, look at all this. I could have this and this and this. But main message is, Karen, listen to your intuition. Does it feel right? Does it appear right? Is it where it wants? And what that will do is set you on a whole new stage in relation to your life. So as I am communicating with the essences that are here for this, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to them for allowing us to see how important it is to be in touch with our own intuition so that we can create, but then in the end, we still have to make the decision and we still have to allow in and be clear. Sometimes we will think this is what we want, but when it sort of arrives, we realize, that's not quite what I want. So we need some refining. So it's very much looking at, sometimes I put things down on paper and take a look and how does that feel? And then allow it to come. So I give thanks. I give thanks on behalf of Karen, and I just release this thought out into the universe, knowing that Karen is going to have her intuition stronger, that the clarity of her home and where is going to become brighter. It's as though it lights up so that she is in command and not giving the power away at all, but claiming it for herself. And for this, I know, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And she already says, thanks for the insight. Now, I also have from Kayla, and she had wrote me a very nice email, which was a little late getting in. But I was writing very fast because she emails me, because sometimes she has trouble on the keyboard, you say, getting into the program. And one of the things, just a second, my nose is dripping a little bit here. Can't have that. One of the things is she, from what I gather, from what I quickly kind of wrote down, and I hope I have this right, she was saying thank you. She was at the workshop on the weekend and thanking for that. I'm very long. She wanted me to read it. I couldn't. It was too late for me to print it off, so I copied exactly what she wanted. What she's got here that I got, and I may have incorporated this a little differently. She wanted the amazing beacon of light and love, which she has had, and she's been in many lives, and is also in this lifetime, to make an even greater difference. And that is not only for herself, but for everyone around. And so I'm just kind of going to abbreviate that a little bit in my mind as to creating the image. Because I know the whole thing about this and having that love and light. So let me just make the contact back with the love and light energy for Kayla. And as I make that light of expression, as I move into the knowingness that I speak my word for Kayla, and the knowingness of how light is so beautiful and I'm going to use the word advanced, because it has a magnificent magnifying effect here. And it's just a matter of, when I look at that, I know it's about accepting it fully, encompassing it fully, so that it's such an easy thing to do to make the differences that you want. As you make the differences, remember, other people still have choices. Other people still have their own, I'm going to use the word here, biases and restrictions, and they have to choose also. But by leading the example, by leading and being the example of love and light in that degree that you experience it, by having that light emanate from you in fullness, they choose whether they want to accept that or not accept it. They choose to say, okay, I'm transformed. I'm aware. There's so many thoughts running through my mind right now. It's like so often people want and they reject. And I think that very often in your generosity of heart, you have put this out, and then it's like, but you have felt, and I'm going to use the word rebuffed, but it's like I want to step back. And the key is not everybody is willing to allow in the light, the love, the understanding, and the purpose of just being. I call it beingness personally when I'm working with my clients, to be the beingness that we have, and to allow that to emanate into all things. Yeah, I don't feel that there is a need for you to want more connection, because the connection is there. I also, what I'm being shown here is that you're needing just to accept that other people don't always want to know or to feel or to be. And I can say, yeah, as a spiritual teacher and a leader, very often it's like sometimes frustration can come in because they're just like a step away. But I just want to say thank you to the universal love energies here, not only because of your capacity to understand and be the beacon of light and love, but to allow it just to be without anything more or less, and allow the people to choose freely, because many will reject, because whether they're not feeling worthy enough, whether they're not just wanting to comply, whatever. Some people are just stubborn. But for you just to stand firm like that beam of light and beingness, and recognize that all is well. And in that joy, I feel it inside myself. I just have to say thank you, thank you, thank you for this wonderful gift of knowing, of what I call personally beingness, of knowing that that's all we can do is be. We can be who we are. We can beam that light. We can state that the truths as we know them, and all will go well. So thank you very much, Kayla. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I breathe out as I release that energy for Kayla. And I am now going to come to Cheryl Ann, who I have not seen on this program for a wee while. Frustrations to soul talents, you said. So what was that? Cheryl's and frustrations re soul talents. You said, I said, so what? So what does that mean? I don't know what I say half the time, when I do these. I'm in a semi-trance often, and I kind of, put my own words in there as well. So I'm trying to make sense of this, to be honest, Cheryl Ann. And if you've got time as you're listening there, if you could just type a little bit more clarity, that would me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do your treatment to make clarity, which I think maybe that's what you're asking for. I'm just not sure. Okay, let's see what we say. Divine Essence, Mother, Father, Son is one. I'm doing a prayer treatment for Cheryl Ann regarding the soul talents and apparently frustrations regarding the soul talents. Yeah, just one thing for people to realize when I say these, I don't hold them. I don't know what I don't really know what I've said, and I don't remember particularly. So I'm going to open myself to the force of love to come in and speak as I do the treatment for Cheryl Ann. And the words that come in this: life is a long path. And the path moves in very, very different directions. And there's forks in the road. And when the forks in the road appear, very often we'll turn our back on one fork for another fork. And every fork in the road does bring with it its own pluses and its own minuses. The realization for yourself in relation to your soul talents is that you have many talents. What you need, from my perspective as it comes through, is what is needed here is choice of what you choose, and trusting in that, and trusting in yourself, in trusting in what you know for you makes you happy. This is about happiness. This is about joy. This is about receiving the benefits of your work and your potential. Not so much the stress of all that, but the joy and the celebration of all that. And so, in relation to the soul talents, of which you have many, and you know you could do this or this or this, sometimes it's a matter of choosing what gives you the most pleasure. What do you like doing the most? Very often in life, one has to choose that, and circumstances change. What could be a passion and a delight in one part of the life, all of a sudden we're offered another roadway, and we may go and think, oh my goodness, but this is what I'm supposed to do. Your talents are many, and it's not about you're supposed to do anything. It's about what you choose to do that brings about happiness and joy and delight for you. And in knowing this, I see very clearly many pathways crossing here or there, where choices are needing to be made. And when they are made for happiness, when they are made for joy, when they are made for, just the love of life, you will know the difference. You will feel the difference. It will not be a struggle. Things will roll easily. It's just like, don't double think. Don't double question yourself. Just always ask, is this in my heart what I want to do? How do I represent that for myself? And then listen to your answers. We always, our answers are in ourselves. They come from us. We find our answers. We don't always look for them outside, because they're saying what their answers, even as I and myself speaking these words to you, I have my own answers for me. You have your own answers for you. And it is in knowing this, I can truly, truly, truly say, thank you, thank you, thank you. For there is such love and such delight and such awareness in so many ways for you, Cheryl Ann, that it's just, I think here it's a matter of letting go and following bliss. Following bliss. I'm actually now able to read, as you've told me not to use soul talents. I have researched and frustrations. But it's again, if you're anything is in frustration, then it's because you're not, there's something about the heart not involved. There's something about not maybe asking in a very specific way that the universe is clear about what you're wanting. And so it's really, it comes through so strongly for you to follow the heart, follow the love, what you love doing the most. It doesn't matter what it brings, what frustrations even that it brings out. But if you love doing it, it's like, it doesn't matter how frustrating it is, because you love doing it. If you're only doing it because you think that you should, or you got to, or whatever is there, all it will be is frustrations. Things that are from your heart, things that are where you're really doing exactly what you love to do, the pathway opens up. Your pathway opens up. So this is from me now, because I'll come back to giving thanks for a minute. We have two choices anytime. If we're in our head trying to figure it out, very often we miss. It won't figure out. If we listen to what we really want to do, we get the cooperation with the divine guidance that is there inside of us. If we listen, if we going slow and sure, believe me, it'll work. So I'm going to just say on that, thank you, thank you, thank you to the beautiful force, a loving force that is always in existence as we move forward. All of us as we move forward, because we are all part of the whole. So even when I am speaking for the people that write here, that write up for me, because that's how I read them, but it's like we're all similar. And some of us have created great things in our lives, and I haven't always been successful in some of the things that I've wanted to do. And when I look back, and so I thought, well, how come that part didn't work? And how part this part worked? Is because maybe there was a bigger message that I was fighting, which I know that is true. But also too, mostly is because I was just thinking. I wasn't being honest with myself. I was perhaps doing it because I thought it would make me more money, or I was doing it because it looked exciting, but not because my heart wasn't in it. It's when my heart is being there and my motive is being a bigger than me motive. Things have always worked, always. And so it's important for each one of us to remember that in different times, in different places of when and where, or whatever. Now I'm looking, and so I'm trusting Cheryl Ann that will help for sure. So is there anybody else that has any other question, comment that they would like to make for before this evening? Because it's I'm just going to talk a little bit about the strange day I had today. I kind of took a non-day today. I thought yesterday I had a kind of non-day too, but today I went, okay, so I sat just when I got up, I watched some things on TV, and I watched a movie, and I caught up on some shows I hadn't seen, and I watched a movie, and then I got hungry. I had something to eat, nothing really very serious. Then I finished doing some just some household chores that I hadn't quite finished yesterday. And so just a kind of very easygoing day. And I thought, okay, I've got to get ready for tonight. And I had my schedule of what I was going to do and how I was going to get here to be ready for tonight. When the phone rang, and as soon as I saw who was on the phone, I answered by saying, I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to be there, but I forgot all about it. I had a massage booked because I had one on Saturday, I guess it was, and I really needed it. And I said, and I used to always have a 3:30 Monday massage booked. I said, let's go back and make it next one for Monday. I obviously need it. Gone. I didn't write it in my appointment book. I had nothing to remind me until I saw my massage therapist's phone number show up. So she gave me a choice. Do you want to come? You want to come when you're ready, or do you? And I said, no, let's make it another day. Mainly because I was in this very calm, getting things done, sitting down, and when I needed to sit down, and eating when I needed to eat. Life can be like that. I always think life is like a river. Rivers, to me, are fascinating. Sometime part of the river, if they're old, they just meander very slowly around, and never in a straight line, by the way. If you ever study geography, that's when we get those rivers going back and forward. But if you've got a feeling new river, it's very fast and furious, and it's very disruptive in a way. And sometimes in life, when we start something new, that's what it feels like. It's like everything is speeding, and we can't kind of get our feet on things and things like that. I have a saying, and the saying is, it's not the event that's important, it's how you handle the event. And I've had sometimes people feed that back to me at times, because I'm like everybody else. I can get kind of upset about something. I didn't get upset. I really didn't get upset about missing my appointment. I was just like, oh, how could I have done that? And that was that. Self-forgiveness is also another thing that's very big on my what would you call it, chart of things to be. I like to do these for like around till 7:30 for sure. And if there's other people who need things, then I'm willing to stay a little longer. So here we are, just approaching the 30-minute line. And so I want to thank you, especially those that are consistently coming in, asking a question so I can do these mental mind treatments. What often is not realized is that our minds are so important of how we think. And sometimes we need to rearrange our thinking. And that's where in my life I have found these treatments, mind treatments, so helpful when I was really groping for a direction and who I was and where I was going. It helped me put things in perspective. And I'm always very happy to do that for others. And although sometimes I can do that within the work I do, it's not the paramount thing that I do. And that's why this time on Monday nights, I've allotted to be here to be able to share the access and be able to move through the direction of where we're going and what we're doing. So on that note, I'm going to say good night to everybody. I thank you very much for coming in. I really appreciate the thumbs up. And please share. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do and ring the bell. So I find in some of the things I like watching, I get told that it's on. But in the meantime, I just want you to have a wonderful week. It's Monday. Got the rest of the week. Enjoy it. Remember, watch what you're thinking, because that's what's creating your vibrational rate. And know that all things can work. Blessings. And I'll be back Wednesday and again on Sunday before I'm back next Monday. Bye now.